Hey listeners, it's me, Danielle, and you're coming on to a new episode of the Practice Power Up Podcast Monthly Review with Damien Adler, Power Diary's co-founder and head of customer success. Together, we'll uncover the latest innovations and achievements at Power Diary. Tune in. Hey everyone, welcome back. Damien, it has been a hot minute since we've come on the podcast. I'm super excited to see you again. You took a little holiday, which I'm super jealous about, and therefore we missed a little bit. And while you were away, we have decided to rename our little episodes here and kind of go with our podcast name, right? So we're going to be the Practice Power Up Podcast, and this will be our monthly update, right?
That's it. So this is season 2
Yes,
for us.
Season 2.
Yes,
Thanks for catching
season
me.
2. So yep, it's we need to we want to refresh and make it. We've got some good things planned this year, don't we? So we thought, let's change the name slightly and make this one about our monthly reviews of the updates, what's new, what's out, what's making a difference for our customers, and any other news that we might have. So should be fun.
I love it.
Looking forward to it.
I love it. And it opens the door because, we've been talking for over a year about the facts that there are so many other things we want to do with the Practice Power Up. We want to get guests on. I need to dive into your story because you've had some changes over the past, has it been 6-7 months? And I don't want to give it away yet because we are going to do an episode on that, and we are going to be so on the ball. I'm going to schedule my calls with you, our podcast with you, so that we can get it on the books, because I know everyone is dying to know about you and what's going on and all the good stuff, and then get some guests on because you know a lot of good people. There's a lot of partners out there. There's a lot of businesses or, other thought leadership people that we can bring on the podcast and interview and share if, as you were saying, that's what people are interested in, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting as we go. We always do like the content we think that people might like, but we don't really know, right? So end of the day, if there's things that I guess people want to tell us, if our audience out there wants more of some things and less of other things or whatever, just hey, let us know, and we will take it on board. And really, I think that at the end of the day, we really like talking about managing practices and not just the sort of software side of things, because that's sort of the tool that is used to sort of get an outcome essentially for practice owners and practitioners and admin team members all over the world. And but our sort of goal is around what's the end impact for those people. And so the software is obviously one of the key things we do, but we like talking about the business of running practices and sharing tips and ideas and things, because a lot of practitioners, a common thing, we were talking about this the other day, weren't we, that a common theme that we hear from people is that they don't describe themselves or see themselves as business owners, or it's sort of they will say, I'm not very good at business when it comes to looking at, and that's fair enough, because people they get into health for non-business reasons. Typically there's altruistic drives. So, but we like talking about that stuff, and we like sharing simple things that can help and that can give confidence to people that maybe don't describe themselves as kind of business people, but then also for people that have very advanced health businesses, we also like sort of sharing information about what makes those ones successful. So, and
we just like talking. So, and we just like talking.
On that note, we should dive in.
Yes, we should. So, guys, look for that. We're going to be scheduling it more regularly. Again, we want ideas, so bring them to us. I actually have a couple that just floated in my head, so as Damien was talking, so I'm super excited about that. But we are in the monthly review. So we are going to just get right into it, talk about all the things. And like I said, so it's been a little bit since we caught up last. So there is a few things on this lengthy list, and we've been good. We printed out our list, and I've been conserving papers. So you might see my kids' homework from last year on the back of there. But yeah, let's jump right in and start with gender identity and sex pronouns. You want to jump in?
So something that we've been working on now for some time, and we did some we, I guess, got consultation from relevant, stakeholders, from our users as well, of course,
Hmm.
to understand exactly what the requirements were to be able to record within PowerDiary in patient profiles, gender identity, sex, and pronouns, and then have that flow through the system so that the appropriate terminology is used and the appropriate references are used,
Hmm.
both in the system but also when producing things like letters and correspondence, that kind of flows through. So that is all now live in the system. It's been in there now for maybe 6 weeks or so, something like that. So you can record everything now in the system. You can use the linked profile, fields from forms, so you can capture information correctly right from the start, which of course was a vital requirement of this. You can also put in some notes into the system to remind you, or things that might be particular about that particular patient, if that's relevant, and so there can be some notes stored in relation to that. But then also to have the relevant terms show up in an easy to access spot on the screen as well, so that when the
Right.
patient comes in the door, there's information available, and it helps then ensure that the right terminology is used, and that I guess that PowerDiary gives people the tools to be able to do that in an easy in an easy way.
And where can they find that easily if they've updated the profile?
Ah, yes, this relevant point. So in the mega menu of the client, so if you were, for instance, clicking on an appointment and you see the
Uh-huh.
client name on the top, so if you click on that client name, you'll see a mega menu. So it's like one of those big menus that pop out with lots of things on there. So that's where you can jump into shortcuts and go into the
Yep.
profile or go into invoices, whatever. But there also is where this content will display. So for quick, easy reference.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I love that, they can go ahead and add it to the form, and like we've made a lot of really good adaptations to the link, like adding in more of these link profile fields so that you can send things out to your clients beforehand and get the information, and then you don't have to
Yeah,
worry about doing it afterwards. So another great linked profile field, another great upgrade. I know it was highly requested from our customers, and so we heard you.
yeah,
And I'm so glad we got it done, because in today's day and age, it needs to be there.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm really glad that they've done the right thing, and we have that now as
yeah,
part of the system. So that's excellent. Good.
yeah.
All right, let's keep
Right.
moving. So
Yep.
there's so much more. I like this
Okay.
one. Let's talk about it. The uploading the signatures to merge into letter and email templates. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, exactly. So now, in someone's user profile, so if they're logged in, and they can go up to the top right hand corner where you'll see your practice name, and you click on that, and you'll see profile. You can go into there and upload an image of your signature, and then you can use that signature when you're generating letters and content that requires a signature. So that now it's live, it's in the system, and it just again makes it easier. So if you're sending out a letter, you want it signed. And so
Hmm.
now that signature can be merged in there, and it's controlled by you, because you need to be logged in under your profile to sort of do it in that way. It just, again, makes things easier. It means you don't have to sort of produce the letter, for instance, and then go ahead
Right.
and sort of put a signature in it. So
Well, and
it
you
can all
can
happen.
email it and they can print it out. You just need to update your templates to include that user signature, field, which you can grab when you're on the templates, and it's right there at the bottom. You just grab it, and you can find it, and you can just go ahead and add it into the template. And that will, again, it adds like that, professionalism to the
Mhm.
emails or to the letters, and saves you time.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And
I
sometimes
love
it's
that.
a legal requirement, of course, that you have, something signed off in the appropriate way. So that does that. Another thing that just makes life easier for people. We knew that was a little friction point, that sometimes people would need to do something after the letter or do another way to do it. So anyway, makes it easy, merges it in, happens automatically.
I love it. I love it. Now, the next feature that we're going to be talking about is one that we have spent a lot of time working on for
Yeah,
very good reason. And that is Telehealth Plus
yeah,
is now officially fully released. It's out of beta. And there's a lot of stuff we want to talk to you guys about this because there's a lot that goes into it. And don't worry, standard telehealth is still available and still able to be used. So, Damien, why don't you take us through it?
And importantly, too, the standard telehealth is still free as well. There's no usage charges or anything on that. But so this is Telehealth Plus that we have released. So it is, as it sounds, Telehealth Plus. It's telehealth with a lot of extra sort of capacity built into it. And we'll go through that list of things. But just before we jump into that, just to cover off on the housekeeping side of things, that it's compliant with security standards. It's compliant with healthcare standards. Both, well, in fact, in Australia, US, of course, with HIPAA, our privacy laws in Australia, and then in Europe, of course, we've got the GDPR. So it complies with all those things. So it ticks off on that. It's as a health platform, that's we build stuff that is compliant with those measures, and it's quite different to if you kind of use. Some people will use video conferencing stuff like Zoom or whatever it might be that really isn't designed for healthcare specifically, and there can be issues with that. And as we might have seen in the news, some people about the way, for instance, Zoom had planned to utilize content, right? That and I think they might have backed down on that now, or they're heading in that direction. But suddenly, people realize that, well, hang on, they're looking at using AI, or utilizing it to do some AI things that wasn't the way people wanted their, well, particularly health data.
That definitely made a lot of news this week. And I do recommend, while we're on the topic, that if you're using Zoom, by all means, you should definitely read into their terms and conditions. Make sure that you are aware of everything that's involved with that, and check into the news and know what you have, what you're using. So just you want to be careful. You are a health practice, or you're a practitioner, or you're whatever it is. You need to just be on top of your security and privacy, because it is extremely important, especially when it comes to your clients and their protection of their privacy.
And that's one of the conversations we were having in-house about that move that Zoom were looking at, or at least their understanding of it. It's sort of hard to get a clear picture of exactly what they were sort of planning to do. But that you only really get that because they're not a healthcare. Like if you were a dedicated platform for healthcare, you would never dream, right, of doing something that with well, in most cases you would hope, like, wouldn't dream of utilizing data in a way that's outside of what is clearly the intent of the user, right? But and when you sort of see that, you think, well, that's what happens when there's other technology that isn't focused on health, when it's being used in health, for instance. Then that company is not thinking like a health practitioner. They're not thinking about those sort of things, and that's where you get these kind of moves where you think that is out there. But anyway, we digress, and we're going to try and be focused, aren't we?
Yes,
Season 2.
that can be it's a whole thing. So maybe we'll have a full discussion about that on a later time. But keep going.
Let's get into what this new telehealth does for us, right? And I have a whole bunch of notes here. So first of all, you can use it for, of course, single. So you've got 2 participants, but you can also use this now for group participants. And this is one of the key drivers behind it, is that this allows for group telehealth sessions. And so we were getting requests for this for all sorts of different use cases, but often this is family consultations, or there's training being done. There's all sorts of different things where people were asking for group. So this actually allows this here for group. Now, we also have some features in there that so we've got screen sharing. We've got now the dominant view can kind of change to be the speaker. You can pin things so that works differently. So you can change your view to match sort of what you would prefer. But we also have this in-session chat and also file sharing within Telehealth Plus. So it sort of gives more of a live feel of how you might, if you were in a session with someone, you might be handing documents, or you might be showing something on your screen, whatnot. So now you can do that in Telehealth Plus. Customizable backgrounds. So that was something, right? That people were
Yep.
saying, hey, like I'm used to having whatever in the background. And, if they're using some like a Zoom, for instance, they just change the background, right?
Right.
But so anyway, so you can now have customizable backgrounds. You can change your video audio settings, so you've got more sort of options to do things
And you
there.
can check your audio settings, so when you get in there, you can
Yes.
hear our little lovely jingle right at the beginning.
That's right. That's right. And these are sort of things that are just make the whole experience kind of smoother.
Yeah.
And the practices are doing a lot of telehealth. These are all things that have added in. You can also now hear when a client joins, so you get an alert, don't you, now?
Yes, you little alert.
Little alert. And then something else that we have got it sort of set up is that it will use the same merge field, right? So in your community, if you're sending out links to, if you're using standard versus Telehealth Plus, the merge, you indicate on the appointment. So by default, it's standard telehealth. But if you'd like to upgrade that session and use it Telehealth Plus, you just toggle a little thing in the appointment that will show that it's Telehealth Plus, and then it will send the client the correct link. So there's a different link, whether it's Telehealth Plus or whether it is standard telehealth. So that means, and for those people that were using it in beta, when we had it out in beta, a lot of people were using it. What they would need to actually manually deal with that new link that we created. But now, of course, now it's been rolled out, it will not require
Yep. All you got to do is toggle it on and automatic. So what I like is you don't have to go and upgrade your templates. Like you don't have to have, a different, merge field. It's the same merge field. You just need to have the toggle on. Now, I think it's really important that all of our current users know that by default, we've turned Telehealth Plus on. So it's on. And you can start, you can use it. Now, if you wanted to turn it off, like you don't want any of your practitioners to ever use Telehealth Plus, you just want to go ahead with the standard, you just need to go and turn that off. And you do that, set up communications, and you just turn it off. And it's right there, and you can go ahead and turn it off. But by default, it's on and it's ready to use. And then you just need to toggle it on for the appointment for that, to actually use it. So there's like two little pieces there. So
let's probably, if we just clarify the language there, it's available. When we say turn it on, we mean it's available in all accounts. Available in all accounts. It is, if you click on any individual appointment, it will be standard, right? Telehealth standard. We haven't gone and turned everyone's appointments into Telehealth Plus.
No.
So it's available. We say turned on. It's available in all accounts to be used. And for an individual appointment, you can turn it on and off. But if you don't want it available in your account at all, then follow the steps you just said, and you can turn it off for the account, which means that it won't be available to be turned on for an individual appointment. Have I got that right?
Yes, yes, that's correct. And the thing is, and I just want to remind everybody. So what the difference is with Telehealth Plus, the actual appointment or the telehealth link, like the telehealth appointment, is linked to the appointment. So it's not like standard telehealth where it's linked to the client. So the client, you can go to their profile and you can find their telehealth link because it's linked uniquely to them. It's because only they can attend. But because Telehealth Plus allows for multiple people to join, it's a unique to the appointment itself. Did I clarify that one right?
Yes. Well, and just in very practical terms, the reason behind that is like you're saying that they think of it like the client, their telehealth standard, that link, the normal link, it's to their room, essentially, their consult room, where that happens. And with a group, then obviously we're letting other people, into a therapy space, essentially, and that's why you have a unique link that is just for that. And so it expires, it's gone after the there. We know that has been held and conducted, and no one else can be, ever go into that kind of room.
I love the way you just described that. That's fantastic. I love that. Your individual room to their therapy space. No, I love that. I should have used that. That's good.
And then behind the scenes with the merge fields, we're taking care of that. So that's, in other words, we're working out, hey, that's a Telehealth Plus or standard, and we're merging the right merge field into it so that you don't have to think about it as the user, but behind the scenes, that's what we're doing. And that's
Right.
why. Yeah. So it's awesome. Best thing to do, jump in and have a play with it. We've got lots of documentation up about it. It's been, something we've been working on for quite, some time. We've received a stack of, positive feedback, and we've had some improvements during beta. And the usage numbers are off the charts. Stacks of people are just loving this even in beta. So it's been super exciting. The team, have been working on this. The engineers, our product team, everyone's been going flat out on this. So awesome to have it out there and out of beta. All right, let's move on.
Okay. Well, this one is recently launched, and that is the Microsoft Outlook server integration to send emails. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this one?
Yeah, sure. So by default, PowerRE will send out any correspondence emails and whatnot, and it will use an address that we have, and it will make it look good, in terms of what it looks like to the other the receiving end. But some people like to have their own custom server sending out, or their own email server sending out the emails. So, what PowerRE does, and we're actually one of the only systems, as far as I know, that allows this sort of customization. But you can actually set up the system to route outgoing emails via your own server.
Oh.
Now, we've had that, for years and years and years overall. But Microsoft, the sending things out via Microsoft was something that hasn't been an option for a long time. The way that Microsoft actually operate that, it wasn't something that would work in the way it was done. So we've now made some changes that will actually allow us and our system to talk to Microsoft mail servers, which means that if you are using, excuse me, I've got the hiccups right in the middle of that.
My goodness.
if you are using Microsoft products and you're using their mail servers, you can now go into that. Now, if it's not something that you need to do or want to do or have a particular reason to do, I wouldn't. There's no need to do it, right? But this is for some people. It's important because they have Microsoft built in for other parts of their workflow, and they wanted to, have that. So for those that use it, it is important to them. But if this is the first time you've ever been hearing about this, you don't need to do anything. This is If it means nothing to you, it means nothing to you. Don't worry about it. You're not suggesting people jump on and use this if they're not already or don't need to. It's there for those out there who've been waiting for this. It is there. Go and use it. If that all sounds like gobbledygook, skip over it.
Communication.
Exactly.
Configuration communication is right there on that page, and you can go ahead and connect that to your Microsoft Outlook email. So that's good.
Indeed.
Good.
Okay.
Let's
Next
talk
one.
this one's a big one. So we are laying the groundwork for rooms and resources, which have been requested and our team has been working on. And I know everyone's really excited about it. I don't want to steal your thunder. Do you want to tell us about this?
Yeah, so this is an amazing, I guess, one of those ones. There's some features that you get really excited about releasing, and this is one of those. So what this will allow you to do is to allocate or set up and then allocate resources to appointments, for instance. So let's say, and rooms is probably the most common scenario that you have. A practice may have a certain number of treatment rooms or consult rooms, depending on what sort of, it could be studios that they use for groups and so forth. But there will be, they'll have obviously a defined or contained amount. They might have 5 consult rooms or 20, doesn't matter. But ultimately, they need a way to kind of track who's in those rooms and if rooms are in fact available for use. So this rooms and resources is a feature that allows you to set up those resources. And so we're saying like a room is a bookable resource, but it could be a piece of equipment. So if you're a physiotherapist and particular equipment that you use, or you're a Pilates instructor, or if you're a psychologist and you're doing testing, and you might need to book out your testing kits. So if you're using a WAIS or a WISC or something, right, this allows you to set up all the resources that are bookable. And then you can assign those to appointments. And so then that, okay, that resource has been used for that appointment. And that means when we've got that, we can then see, well, okay, if you're looking at a particular time or you want to listen, you can see if that's available. Is that resource available at that time? So, that is in addition, of course, to the practitioner, right? So is the practitioner
Right.
available? Yes, they've got a gap, but is that piece of equipment available? And then that way you can see it. You can book
Right.
it, track it, all the rest of it. Now, how we're rolling this out, and we'll do a separate thing on this at some stage, but one of the changes we made, over the last little while is we're always refining and improving that process is that we, instead of going behind the scenes, building all the functionality on a new feature and then releasing it in one big bang, we are doing it more incrementally. So we will build and release, in stages. And so that actually allows, there's lots of reasons to do this from a development point of view, but one of the key reasons is it allows this kind of feedback in real time from our users. So with that in mind, this has been rolled out in kind of 2 stages. So the first stage, which will hit very soon, in fact,
Probably I think actually by the time this is released, our monthly update has been released. This will be out, so you're good to talk about it.
So the first stage, what it will do is just allow you to set it up. So what you'll see is some options pop up that allow you to go in and define your resources, right? So you'll be able to go into the system and say, okay, I want to add rooms. I have 6 rooms. You can give them labels. Perhaps it's going to be room 1 to 6, but we do see creative names being used as well. So whatever floats your boat.
The butterfly room.
Yes,
I don't
colors.
know.
You see colors. Yeah.
Yeah.
People will say, especially if they're pediatric, they'll often have animal names. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. Anyway, so you can go into your resources. You can say, I'm setting up rooms, and then you can add those rooms to it. And then, so that's first stage that you'll see. You can just set it up. Right. And that allows everyone and gives people some time to get that kind of configured. Right. In the meantime, then our development team and engineers are working on the next phase, which is, of course, the actual user, the part that you'll see where you can use it. So then the second stage of that release is you'll actually see that be available to book. So when you'll see it in the appointment panel and be able to allocate resources.
That's exciting. I think we're going to have so many happy customers out there because, like I said, this is something that has been requested, and I'm really happy to see it get completed and the work start. And I know that our team is really, behind the scenes doing a lot of work to make sure this is done properly. So really excited about this. I mean, actually everything they do, behind the scenes looks, might just be this little thing. We talk about it every time, but it's so huge. And there are so many hardworking employees trying to get it done. So excellent.
Indeed.
Excellent. So get on in there, start setting up those resources. You can find it under the setup menu. So get in there and start filling them in.
Yep. It'll be great. And you'll see some stages of this getting released over the next few weeks.
Yep, you will. Okay, so this last one, not quite as, exciting, but it's just kind of one of those things that's nice to have.
Yes.
I guess.
We have we talk behind the scenes, right? We talk about like some quality of life improvements, right? When it comes to some changes in the app. So these are things that aren't going to sort of, rock your world necessarily, right? But they are important from a usability point of view. So this one here kind of fits into that category. I think it's where you can sort of view and reactivate inactive communication templates. So now I should say this will only apply to templates that are made inactive or deleted, like post from when we release it. Okay, so you can't go back, like ones that have been deleted in the past. As in this is just the template, not obviously the content in people's files, patient files, but the original template that might have created that. Now, what sometimes happens is that people will draft templates for letters and emails and all sorts of stuff, and then they'll delete it because like, either accidentally sometimes, or they think, I won't use that again. But then, they actually want to be able to use it again and it's gone because they deleted it. And so what this sort of comes out of is people want to sort of be able to get rid of things and make things inactive. So their communication list is not clogged up. For instance, if you were to do like a Christmas, some sort of Christmas thing, right? we're what are we in August now? You don't want to be seeing that Christmas like communication
And
template
then it
sitting there.
accidentally goes out because it
Exactly.
was
You know, it's
active. Oh, that makes
yeah,
sense. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah,
I love how you put it into practical sense, because it's like, how would that happen? Well, okay, you got a Christmas email and you got it in your template. And whoops, Christmas and standard
yeah,
communication template. Maybe they grabbed the wrong one. It's yes.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. And
practicality, perfect.
and then it looks messy too, right? In the UI and the user interface, someone clicking on for it to do a function that's generate a letter for something else, and you've got like your Christmas opening hours or something, right? So
Mhm.
like in the past, that meant if you didn't want that there, you kind of had to delete it, whatnot. But then come Christmas again, you're like, where is that template? Right? So
Where did it
you had
go?
a
The
really good
panic
one, and yeah,
section.
exactly, right. So this is one of those things that it's a housekeeping thing, but it'll just make life a little bit easier. That you can make inactive any templates that you're not using, right, going forward.
Yeah.
And then when you want to use them again, you can just toggle a thing, see all the inactive ones, the whole list right there, and then you can go, oh yeah, I want to use that one. Turn it active again. Bang, it's there. It's available. It can be used. Right. So it's like I said, not going to rock anyone's world probably, right? But
Yeah.
it's one of those things. It just we get the feedback. We kind of look at it very closely about what sort of things, big things, but also little things like this. That
Yeah.
hey, it's niggles, and we're like, what? There's a lot of people that might be making these comments. We think it's a great idea. Let's get it in there. So enjoy that.
Enjoy.
Neater lists is always a good thing.
Absolutely. I wish I could find an easy way to clean up my own files and stuff, and that's pretty amazing. So
Yeah.
excellent. Well,
Yeah.
that's a roundup of like the past couple weeks, last month.
Well,
So we again lots happening, more to come. And actually I'm really excited because your upcoming Power Talks with Claire is coming up at the end of this month, and it is all about what's new at Power Diary since the beginning of the year. And you guys are going to be really going in depth into basically like all the key stuff that's come out over the
yeah.
past several months. I'm
Yeah,
excited
and
about it.
we'll be covering most of the key things. We won't have time to go
No,
into every single one.
no,
But what we've sort of realized is that sometimes, fair enough, people don't. They might watch this, this monthly update that you and I do, but sometimes it may be good to have a bit of an overview and catch people up on, hey, this year these are all the kind of key things that have been happening. And I'm really excited to have. Claire's going to be my co-host. Claire has been with us like from almost day dot. Like she was our first. I mean, a lot of our customers have been with us for many, many years. Like we'll know Claire in different roles. So Claire's been with us for a long time. I think 9 years or something. She's awesome. She started out in the customer team as a very first hire, in fact, in the customer team.
wow.
And now she is doing a great job in product. She's has a huge role in working out what gets implemented and how to go about it. So awesome, like to have Claire co-host. She's been a big part behind the scenes for a long time, and a lot of our customers have been with us for 10 years or so. Will actually have worked with Claire over the time. So it's great
And
to have Claire out from, she does great work behind the scenes. I'm so pleased that she's agreed to come on.
I
Not
am
agreed. She's
too.
actually I've done some prep work with her on the upcoming webinar. She's excited. It's going to be awesome. And I'm
What are
looking
you
forward to
talking
it.
about? You're excited. If you're watching us on YouTube, you got to see how excited Damien is. He's bouncing around in his seat. I love it because, like, he's right. Claire is phenomenal, and she's smart, and she's articulate, and she knows the system. Wow, so well. I mean, I ask her for something if I'm ever caught up, and she just whips it together, sends me over an explanation, makes a video for me, and I'm like, oh, because she just does it. It's so easy. It's so natural for her because she's been with Power Diary so long, and you guys need to tune in. If you see Damien's excitement right now, come to the webinar. It's going. These two are going to have a great time, and it's going to be amazing. So I'm looking forward to. So that's at the end of the month, as always. So it's like the 20th and 29th, I believe. There's 3 times. So because Claire and Damien want to make sure they hit all of our customers. So please head on over, register today. And yeah, that's gonna be a good one. So I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to watch, and you guys should too. So wow. Whew. I hope we didn't go too long. I forgot
But
to start my stopwatch. Did you?
no, I didn't start it either. But so if we did go over, apologies.
We're sorry, forgive us, but again, we're gonna be so much better. Damien's back from vacation, and we're in it. So we're gonna be more on top of our game. And again, like I said, we've got new content coming, and we're just excited to be back. So I think that's it.
I think so.
I think that's
Bye-bye.
it.
Thanks,
All right.
Danielle. Been fun.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.